Alright, we're going to do more programming tutorials today. Today we're going to follow this text-based one called catlikecoding that we've been going through. He has like a basic series, and I've done all of these up to jobs. I believe, Connor, you've done the same, right? Or did you also do jobs already?
I haven't done jobs. I
Okay.
think I don't know if I finished compute shaders, but I definitely
Yeah,
remember
I got
doing that.
lost. I got lost on compute shaders. I didn't do a very good job on that one, but
Not
jobs is
familiar with the
kind of
shaders.
Jobs kind of starts from fresh. I think that's what it seemed like. It starts from like a fresh Unity file. It didn't look like it depended on anything previous. So yeah, we could run through this whole thing. Probably not gonna do the whole thing right now. Probably do like maybe half. We're just gonna go through it for like an hour, see what we get done. Given that it's a text-based tutorial, there's gonna be a lot more downtime. But whatever. I mean, who cares?
Well, if one of us is reading it out,
That's true. Yeah, that could be helpful. So yeah, it looks like it is all uh, new stuff. So this is, if it's building off of compute shaders, this is the point where I'm starting to lose this series a little bit. I'm starting to get more and more confused on shit. So if this ends with me just not knowing what the fuck any of this was, don't be too surprised. But we'll see. Because mainly, I just want to finish up all the basics because I want to go to, where is it? He has a bunch of other
movement.
series too, and there's
Yeah.
one on movement, and that's my shit.
Yeah. You
This one
don't
looks
have to,
fun.
you could do that one from scratch. 100%. Once you understand like the first three things in Unity or in the basics, you could definitely do this.
Mm,
But I do agree that it's good to add or just to try at least to get it.
yeah,
But
I
I
definitely want to give
also
an attempt.
it just occurred to me that he's been adding tutorials in between. So if you're too slow, he could keep you in limbo forever with that pseudo random noise tutorial.
Yeah, so he's got one on object management, one on the tower defense game, one on flow.
That
This
one
one's
could
very
be
interesting.
Wetrix. That could be Wetrix.
That's true. Wetrix Tech.
Actually, it looks like it's more of a plain thing and not a fluid thing, but still.
Um,
I think I get Wetrix. I think I could do the math for that pretty.
are we gonna have to come up with
Not,
like a hybrid name for that, like Zooptrix or something stupid like that?
well, today I realized Wetrix is Tetris.
Yeah.
They're doing Tetris, and somehow they got Wetrix.
Yeah, Donkey's Tetris video covers this kind of
Yeah,
shit
that's
very
true.
well.
That's true. Forgot
Just
about
like
that.
the guy who names
Well,
Tetris
like,
games is a complete fucking jackass.
well, I never knew. Like, I didn't realize it was Tetris until I was playing it just now. Like, I forgot about it. I thought Wetrix was some other just like obscure thing, but it's a Tetris thing.
It's wet Tetris with an
It's
X for
fun.
some reason.
It's a genius game. Like they knew that they had a really weird uh, mechanic, and they couldn't dress it up too much, so they went full in and they made the voice acting a robot. They made everything super abstract, and just like they didn't make it seem like I was anybody. They just made it seem like I was controlling something. They
Huh.
don't put any story in. They By making it abstract, they just like they take the person out of it. Those ones seem hard, but I do want to try the marching squares one.
Marching squares seems very important for like procedural map shit, right? Is that kind of the
I have no idea. Well, it seems like what this guy is mostly into is being able to write math that will make something so that you don't have
yeah.
to make stuff in Blender ever. You could technically write out all the curves as uh, you know, you could just like procedurally generate everything out of cubes and spheres.
Swirly pipe. Oh, it's an endless runner. Okay. But
That
yeah,
was
so
something I was considering we could try
an endless
for
runner
a
game.
basic game. Well, like just using that.
It's not a bad idea. This one looks cool. The advanced rendering one seems interesting. I'm mainly interested in movement and flow. Those are my two like top priority ones because those are like very important for gameplay. I feel like to be able to like the nailing how your character moves around, and then also
Mhm.
having the ability to like swim. I feel like those are both very important.
These are all physics focused too.
It's
So
good.
like everything is based on the math, which is just great.
Okay, but for now we're going through this one called jobs. That I mean it has to do with fractals. I don't really know what jobs means. Jobs is just a way that you create a fractal. I assume that's how that's working. I don't know.
Yeah, what it seems like is like right, I mean, just based on the word jobs anyway. I would assume it's just like writing a function and then having it be some sort of a, oh, what's the word I'm thinking of? Like spread it out, like spread out the work, you know?
This is the
That's what
sixth
I imagine
tutorial
this
in a
is, a way
series
of
about
spreading
learning the
out
basics.
the work for generating a fractal. We'll see.
I forgot about this. I have a Chrome extension that I can highlight a text and then right click it
This is the
and
sixth
it'll read it out
tutorial in a
loud.
series about learning the basics of working with Unity. This time we'll create an animating
It's probably
fractal.
just more
We
annoying than
begin with
actually
a
helpful though.
What kind of voice is it?
Just like uh, Google Translate default woman.
Oh, okay. Still cool. I used to
Okay.
do that for studying. I would just copy and paste stuff into Google Translate and have it read it back to me.
That could be helpful.
It's easy if you don't want to read or something, if you just want to listen to it.
Alright, this is the sixth tutorial in a series about learning the basics of working with Unity. This time we'll create an animating fractal. We begin with a regular game object hierarchy and then slowly transition to the jobs system, measuring performance along the way. So jobs is some sort of system though, yeah. But that makes a little more sense. Okay. I mean I think we both get what a fractal is, right? It's like a
Yeah.
recursive thing that like has like a smaller version of itself.
Yeah, I think a fractal is technically just an equation, but I don't totally know. There's a lot of different kinds.
A geometric fractal can be constructed by starting with an initial shape, then attaching smaller duplicates of it to itself, which then also spawn smaller versions of themselves and so on. This can theoretically go on forever, creating an infinite amount of shapes
Okay.
that nonetheless occupy a finite space. We can
It's
create
very
something like
abstract.
this within Unity, but only up to a few levels deep before performance degrades too much. Okay. So first we'll actually create. So I'm assuming we're going to want to both be like programming along with this, or do you want to
Yeah.
just? Yeah. Okay.
Let me open it up.
Me
I
too.
do want to finish this.
I'll just create a new blend file, I suppose. What version did you do it in? 2023.6.
I'm doing most recent. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see if it matters. Actually, I didn't even get to pick a version either. I think it just defaulted to the
Yeah,
last
you
one I
have to
did.
you have to download the version.
Oh well, we'll see if it matters. But yeah, that compute shaders one fucked me up. Whatever. Begin by creating a fractal component type to represent our fractal. Give it a configurable depth integer to control the maximum depth of the fractal. The minimum depth is 1, which would consist of just the initial shape. We'll use 8 for the maximum, which is quite high, but shouldn't be so much that it would accidentally make your machine unresponsive. Depth of 4 is a reasonable default. Okay. So this isn't doing anything fractal yet. It's literally just defining a serialized field.
Yeah. How many steps down it goes, if I understand correctly.
And then we have a sphere that we're going to create. But whatever. Let's just get our Unity scenes set up. I had a problem earlier with Unity. It kept like lagging super hard and then crashing.
That's
But
weird. What were you doing?
I was setting up that physics thing, and I went through and made every one of those fridges of rigid body. And at first it ran like super smooth and it was fine. I was just fucking like pushing them over and stuff. And then out of nowhere it just started lagging super bad. Like I didn't even change anything. And then it would crash every time I opened it, so I couldn't do shit. And then I eventually so at first I thought it was because I had too many physics objects. But then I looked up and you can do like thousands of rigid bodies and Unity should be able to handle it.
Yeah, if it doesn't open back up, then it's just a Unity problem.
Well, I
Just
updated
like
my
that.
drivers and that fixed it. My graphics drivers, weirdly enough.
Yesterday I was getting this super weird error where on one screen all the pixels within a like just if I had YouTube or Twitch open, just within the video player, all the like certain pixels were all red.
Gee, that sounds like a dying GPU kind of thing. But if it's only
That's
in
what
the
I
video,
thought. I was so scared because if it was all, like if it, since it's only in the video, I thought it was like some crazy, you know, like encoding error with the GPU or something. But it's just my HDMI cable was loose.
oh, there you go. God, why does it hate everything I do? Oh, because that's a semicolon, not a colon. Okay. There we go. Okay, and then I gotta create the sphere. We'll use a sphere for the initial shape, which will be created via game object, 3D object, sphere, position in a world origin. It just defaulted there. Attach our fractal component to it and give it a simple material. I made it yellow initially using URP. Remove the sphere collider component from it to keep the game object as simple as possible. Okay.
Remove what?
The sphere collider.
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna make it a different color. So he said he used URP. Oh, whatever. I'll just create a new material.
I think in the material you can just choose URP under shader. Or, yeah, under shader. And then... I don't remember what the...
There's material. Bold. I'm gonna make it.
Where is URP?
I'm gonna make it emissive red.
No, I guess
symbols.
universal isn't there anymore.
Okay, well I got a clown nose here.
Oh wait, did he make an... What, I'm behind, wow. On my version.
Oh.
2020.2. This is on 2020.3.
Oh, dang. Okay. Do you think that'll matter?
Well, I don't have that universal render pipeline under my...
You wouldn't create in shader and there's supposed to be URP? There isn't one for me
I
either.
think so.
I'm 2020.3.1.
I think that's the same one, actually. Oh, no, 0.6, but still, that's... I doubt they...
I think we're fine. I mean, I think
Yeah.
he's just saying he used URP. It's just a material. Like, he just wants a color for it. I don't think that's super important.
Yeah, I didn't think so either, but I thought I'd be ahead. I forgot, he made this one, like, last month.
Oh, this is like a more recent one?
Yeah. Oh, updated last month. So range is 1 to 8. I guess it doesn't matter.
The fuck? Someone just messaged me on Discord and said, I'm a reputable darknet vendor, very high rep on Empire and DNM, PGB verified. It's your only invitation. Truly research this, it'll change your life. They're trying to get me to buy hacked or phished credit cards and then flip it, I guess. What the fuck?
Jeez.
Get out of my face. That was random.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I
see
remember what I was going to do. I was looking for a funny texture to put on.
Well, now I have to. Strawberries.
Yeah.
I
I already won the funniness factor. You know it.
I don't have any textures really.
I only have these on here from when I was doing the what's it called? The little dolls, the like different AI versions of the dolls. I have a bunch of random things like that. Oh, this is a good one.
If we wanted to, we could just use high-res textures for all our shit and then just downscale it in Unity.
That is true for some things that would look okay, but I think there is some...
Yeah, not like... Yeah, I know. I thought the same thing. The, like...
This is a good one.
Like, walls and shit, that'd be so easy.
That is true. Like, we just... Right here, just override and then bring it down to, like, 128.
Yeah, if we want to have that picture in, but make it look pixely, like, that's a great...
Yeah, that looks fine.
It really is a great pixel filter.
This is a pretty funny one. What else could I do? Maybe spaghetti ball. Oh, pizza ball. Oh, it doesn't fully wrap over it, though. I can't really fuck with the UVs in here, can I? Okay, I'm giving this like 10 more seconds. Putting this guy on. No, I'm putting strawberries on. Final answer. Okay. You ready to continue?
Yeah.
To turn the sphere into a fractal, we'll have to spawn clones of it. This can be done by invoking the instantiate method with it itself as an argument. To pass a reference to the fractal itself, we can use the this keyword, so we will be invoking instantiate this, which we'll do to generate a fractal after entering play mode. So what is
How did you get it? Sorry, how did you get it to show the... Our render settings are different. I don't know why my background is all gray.
Are you in scene?
Yeah. Do you have to go to game?
Mine was always like that. Maybe it wasn't, actually. I also have this. Look, when I go into play mode, my whole thing gets kind of like tinted blue. So I think I did fuck with this.
Tinted gray.
How did I do this?
I wish I could see what... yeah, that would make a huge difference.
What? Being able to see the backdrop?
Yeah.
I think it was project settings. Scene template?
Oh.
No. Where did I do this? What the fuck? Oh, wait, I think it's up here somewhere. I think it's on this bar somewhere.
That's what I thought. I clicked most of...
I'm on shaded. Are you on shaded here?
Yeah. Shaded 2D. The light bulb is off. Your light bulb is on.
It doesn't really change anything.
No. Let me just look that up. Sorry.
It's all good, yeah. Is it this? Can you just click this button?
Where?
To the right of the speaker and to the left of the eye.
Right of the speaker, left of the eye. Oh yeah, toggle skybox. There
you go. Okay.
Okay, so these are layers. That's cool. Didn't know that.
Okay. So yeah, we just write a code that on start it runs and then calls itself. It's just recursive. It's just a recursive function, I guess. We could clone the fractal in an awake method, but then the clone's awake method would immediately get invoked as well, which immediately creates another instance, and so on. This would keep going until Unity crashes because it's invoking too many methods recursively, which will happen very quickly. To avoid immediate recursion, we can instead add a start method to invoke instantiate there. Start is another Unity event method, which, like awake, also gets invoked after a component is created. The difference is that start doesn't get invoked immediately, but right before the first time an update method would get invoked on the component, whether it has one or not. New components that get created at that point get their first update in the next frame. This means that instantiations will only happen once per frame. I don't think I fully got that.
Instantiate. Well, it's designed to break. If you look at the next step, he's about to fix it.
Oh, okay.
But every frame, it instantiate or instantiate. Yeah, instantiate.
Yeah, I think it should. I struggled with that.
Instantiate. That is a hard word.
Instantiate.
I never said it out loud. I always said it in my head. Well,
Okay.
it instantiates. Damn, that is. Why do I say it like that? Instantiate. It instantiates.
Oh no, I clicked the link.
This, when it says this, it literally it just refers to the whole script.
Instantiate.
Instantiate.
Instantiate. That's what it
Instantiate.
is. It's chi.
Instantiate. That's what this one says.
Yeah.
That's what the bot says.
That's how I was converting the chi into a ch.
Okay.
But
so yeah, this is a
instantiate
failed
this.
one.
Yeah. It just makes a clone of the thing, whatever it's on.
So to enforce the maximum depth, we'll have to abort the instantiation once the maximum is reached. Instantiation. The most straightforward way to do this is to decrement the configured depth for the generated child fractal. Oh, okay, so he has the if. That's weird. I would have expected him to do these both at the same step. Oh, okay. We can check at the beginning of start whether the depth is 1 or less. If so, we shouldn't go any deeper and abort the method. We can do this by returning from it, using the return statement in isolation, because this is a void method, which return nothing. Okay, so if that's where that's the what's it called? In recursion, you need to have a base case. So that's your base case, I guess. To make it easy to see that the configured depth indeed decreases for every new child fractal, let's set their name property to fractal, followed by a space and the depth. An integer can be appended to a text string via the addition operator. This generates a text representation of the number and then a new concatenated string. Oh, okay, so it names them for us too. That's pretty nice. So this should be after the if, right? Why is this above the if? Oh no, never mind, because it would still create one more fractal, and the if is determining if it's going to create another one. Okay.
Yeah, because depth doesn't change until after it's created.
Okay, so I'm going to start I haven't written anything in a while here because he keeps redoing shit. I'm going to just write what he has so far.
I don't know where this. Wait, does he specify the name?
Of what?
Where does the name property come from?
I guess that's just. Well, it's just the name of the current object. Like every time you run it, it creates a new. Like.
Yeah, I've never used name before. It's interesting.
Can't you just do minus equals for that? Oh no, because child.depth and depth are different. That's nice that you can just use addition on strings and integers together like that. In Python, I remember you having to do like a specific keyword to do shit like that. This just seems to work pretty elegantly. Okay, so now if we run this, it should create a bunch of versions of itself. Oh, it didn't.
Did you drag it onto the object?
Oh, no, good call. I didn't actually put the... There you go. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now he's going to actually have like the offset, I'm assuming. Oh, he's going to make them all parents or children of each other. Okay, that's pretty smart.
Oh yeah, it made them on top of each other. Duh.
So set parent needs... What is transform in this sense? Itself?
Usually the best way to do this is just look up, like whenever he references like this some sort of method that we don't know about, like child.transform.setParent, I usually just look it up.
Okay.
So you can see like what the...
Yeah, like what are the
two
arguments?
Yeah, transform and false.
If you mouse over, well, at least in my thing, if I mouse over, it tells me like the second one is supposed to be a boolean called world position stays. I don't know what that means, and then the first one just says transform parent. So I don't know, that doesn't really help, but sometimes that helps. Are you looking it up?
Yeah, I just remembered child is our thing and not it's object.transform.
Oh yeah, we named child. We have named this child.
Oh, it's just component, not even object. It's its own thing. So the public method is set parent. If true, the parent relative position are modified such that the object keeps the same world space position. Okay. So we're saying that's false because we want it to be in a different spot.
So if it was true, it'd be in the same position, basically? Is that the idea?
Yeah. If you wanted something to follow it exactly.
This goes as a simple game object hierarchy, but it still looks like a single sphere because they all overlap. To change this, set the local position of the child's transformation to vector.right. Okay. That's very helpful. I like the like dot right, dot left, dot up, dot down. Those are very convenient. I'm gonna also go up just out of curiosity. Then it'll just be going up like a graph. Oh. Oh, never mind. It's set position. I thought it would like average between the two. I guess it doesn't really matter though. There, that's what I wanted. Okay. The idea of self-similarity is that smaller portions look like larger portions, so each child should be smaller than its parent. We'll simply half its size by setting up its local scale to a uniform 0.5. As scale also applies to children, this means that each step down the hierarchy the size halves.
I wish that you could do 0.4 or 0.5 and not 0.5.
I thought you could.
No. Oh, maybe actually it was giving me an error, but I didn't finish.
Because I usually do that. Yeah, it works.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm just making up problems.
Well, this looks cool. Okay. To make the spheres touch again, we have to decrease their offset. The local radius of both the parent and the child used to be 0.5, so an offset of 1 made them touch. As the child's size has been halved, its local radius is now 0.25, so the offset should be reduced to 0.75. I can follow that in the sense that it's like, okay, if I do this, this works, but like, I don't think I would have thought of that.
It's because they're getting smaller, but they're getting half the size, so they're. Well, I mean, they explain it better, I guess, but it's just so that they can move over the amount of space that they lost when they shrunk.
I fucked something up. Oh wait, never mind. Okay, there we go. Like, it makes sense. I can like read that and be like, yeah, that's reasonable. It's just that I don't think I would be clever enough to. I guess it would take me a little practice.
You just have to figure it out on paper.
Yeah. Spawning only a single child per level produces a line of spheres with decreasing size, which isn't an interesting fractal. So let's add a second child per step by duplicating the child creating code, reusing the child variable. The only difference is that we'll use vector3.up for the extra child, which positions its child above the parent instead of to the right. Okay. I'm just going to copy this. It's the same code. I'm sure he'll eventually turn these into like functions or something. Make it a little more clean. Okay. This is a cool looking thing. Dang, this got way deeper than I thought it was going to. I guess because it's each one of these is spawning more in between each other.
It goes one right, one up, and then from there, one right, one up, one right, one up. And each time it does that, it does an instantiate on that one, so that one then does what the first one did.
This shit crazy. The expectation is that every fractal part will now have 2 children up to 4 levels deep. This doesn't appear to be the case. We end up with far too many levels at the top of the fractal. This happens because by the time we clone a fractal to create its second child, we've already given it a first child. This child now gets cloned as well because instantiate duplicates the entire game object hierarchy that was passed to it. The solution is to establish a parent-child relationship only after both children have been created. To make this easier, let's move the child creation code to a separate create-child method that returns the child fractal. It does everything the same except that it doesn't set the parent and offset direction becomes I said that wrong, whatever. Except that it doesn't set the parent and the offset direction becomes a parameter. So wait, where is this? Where do I put this?
Oh, I see what's happening. Okay. I was a little... Okay. So we're... I mean, you can see the next step down where he puts it.
Oh, okay.
He's just replacing it.
Well, this is where he calls these new functions, right?
Yes, you just write it outside of the start function.
Oh, okay. See, I knew he was going to do this. What'd you say?
I keep typing vector 4.
Fourth dimensional vector. Okay, that one's nicer. Got these little Mickey Mouse ears. I'm gonna push it. I'm gonna push it far. Let's do 10. Didn't change. Do I have to change it on the ball? Oh, I do. Okay. Wow, it's so weird how it creates like a sharp edge. It's pretty neat. Now we get a fractal with exactly 2 children per part, except for the smallest parts at maximum depth that don't have any children. These children are always positioned the same way, one on top and one on the right. However, fractal children are attached to their parent and can be considered to grow out of it. This makes sense that their orientation is thus also relative to their parent. To a child, its parent is the ground, which makes the directions of its offset equal to its local up axis. We can support a different orientation per part by adding a quaternion, which we assign to the child's local rotation so that it's relative to the parent's orientation.
I'm still typing out the other one. I think I have it.
Oh, wait. What the hell? Did Medium disconnect?
Oh, yeah, I guess so.
I just realized that. I guess I wasn't using them anyways, but it's messed up the cropping.
Oh. I don't know if he's ever been on, actually, now that I think about it.
it seems to be having some sort of problems, and I don't feel like dealing with it, so I just made it stream its screen.
Oh, there is a vector 4. That's why it's just been coming up. It comes up first when I type in V.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. Now I can see your screen again like normal. Okay, are you on reorientation?
No, I have to. Oh, okay. I have to move this over. Okay. This one's person these children are always positioned the same way when I talk to them. Can support a different orientation per part. Okay.
So it's basically just keeping it on like a grid system rather than the way it's kind of like if you made a bunch of these and followed the line that it's creating, it'd be like a curved line. Whereas if now it would be like 90-degree turns, kind of.
Yeah, I mean, just this step is just adding the ability to rotate the child relative to the parent.
Rotate the child.
Or wait, is it relative to the parent?
Well, I think it's making it local rotation. So it already is local to the parent, and then we're making it not. I think. Is that right?
Well, it wouldn't look different if we were rotating a sphere, so it has to be relative to direction. Well, I guess we'll just. Let me read that problem again. Are attached to their parent and can be served. Their orientation is thus also relative to the parent. It's a different orientation per part. Oh, okay.
Whoa. It looks pretty cool. Let me know where you're at too, every once in a while, because I can't really see on your screen that well. Or wait, maybe if I switch to this, it'll be okay. Yeah.
Okay.
So you got the fractal working? I mean, you got the reoriented fractal, rather. Mine is going the wrong direction. Is my camera just on the opposite side? How did that happen? I guess ours are going. Oh, never mind. It's fine. It's fine. Okay, so now
So
we
then-
just add it again, just to the left.
Yeah, add a third ball.
This is another easy copy and paste one because it's just the same thing flipped.
Oh, forgot.
That's one thing that does kind of suck about me hosting it rather than being through Discord. Because like if my mic was going through Discord, it would cull out background noise like really easily. But since I'm just streaming it right into Streamlabs, it like picks up everything. It's not really.
I did a mic setup, but it's pretty bad. That kills noise, but it doesn't do it as well as Discord. It does it weird.
Okay. Well, are you caught up?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so now he just makes it a pyramid. So we do the same thing, just adding forward and back now on top of left and right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, these are pretty simple steps, I think. Generally, it's easy to follow. Oh, this lagged my shit hard. Holy fuck. I did a depth of 8. This looks crazy.
This is the Sierpinski triangle.
Sierpinski. What is the Sierpinski triangle? Oh,
I guess what we made.
It's a recursive triforce, I guess. Hey, that looks pretty cool.
Now the fun stuff.
Can bring our fractal to life by animating it. The easiest way to create endless motion is to rotate every part along its local up axis in a new update method. This can be done by invoking rotate on the fractal's transform component. This applies a cumulative rotation over time, which will make it spin. If we use time.delta time for the second argument and 0 for the other two, we end up with a rotation speed of a single degree per second. Let's scale that up to 22.5 per second, degrees per second. So a complete 360 rotation is achieved within 16 seconds. Because of the fractal's four-sided symmetry, this animation will appear to loop every 4 seconds. Neato. I'm gonna make it go sicko mode.
Oh, it's already going sicko mode. I was in play mode, and it stayed updated.
Whoa. Okay, well here it is in normal mode. That's so weird looking. Like each... So yeah, I guess that this is a good job of showing what the rotation thing we did before does. Because like each one of these...
I put it up to 8.
Yeah, it's too much. But yeah, each one of these is rotating relative to its parent, it seems. Or its own, like...
Yeah.
Its own axis.
That's why, like, the single rotation can make it look different. This is too fast. What are you on? Are you on 4?
For what, the second float?
The depth.
Oh, I was on 5.
What the fuck? Why is mine going so fast? I must have put 225. Oh, I didn't multiply by delta time. So it's doing 22 degrees every frame.
Oh my god. I upped it to 200 degrees. Oh, did it crash? Oh, whoa, that looks cool too, though.
What'd you do there?
I just changed 20 to 200. Let's change it to 2 now. And 2000. This is where the crashing starts, maybe? Oh,
No, it's just a
no,
speed.
it's got it. Looks good. I want to up that to fucking 8 and then do that, but that's going to cause some trouble, I think. It's like I want my Unity to crash. I don't know why I did that. Okay, I'm good. Oh, I gotta put it back. Void.update. I'm glad there's such like a direct comparison to the event tick, because like I learned a lot about like how to build things around event tick, and I was worried about like transitioning between Unreal and Unity, but like that's like a very direct reference to that, it seems like.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not, you know what I mean. It's not like they base it
Yeah.
off of that, but
Yeah, I think any game needs an update function of some kind. Because games have to render stuff every frame.
yeah.
I guess not all of them do. Early stuff was probably more driven by, like, input. Like how Windows used to speed up if you threw the mouse around.
Okay, well, he goes into the performance here.
What's the difference between Mono and IL-2 CPP?
Yeah, this is the shit that I just read. I don't really follow along specifically with this because it just gets a little bit above my head.
I profiled separate builds for fractals for depths 6, 7, 8. I got a rough estimate of the average time in milliseconds spent. Oh, okay, so after... So he just did a little experiment. My machine struggles with depth 7, while depth 8 is a disaster. Far too much time is spent invoking update methods. Okay. That alone would limit the frame rate to at most 25 frames per second, but it ends up far worse. Unity's default sphere has a lot of vertices, so it makes sense to try the same experiment, but with cube. After doing so, it turns out that I get the same results. Oh, okay, which indicates that the CPU is the bottleneck, not the GPU. So it's the code. Flat hierarchy. The recursive hierarchy of our fractal with all of its independently moving parts is something that Unity struggles with. It has to update the parts in isolation, calculate their object-to-world conversion matrices, then cull them, and finally render them either with GPU instancing or with the SRP batcher. As we know exactly how our fractal works, we could use a more efficient strategy than Unity's general-purpose approach. We might be able to improve performance by simply simplifying the hierarchy, getting rid of its recursive nature. Okay. Oh, and then instead of duplicating the root game object, we'll use it as a root container. So remove the mesh filter and mesh renderer components, then add the configuration fields for a mesh. Huh.
Got distracted. I'm mid Game Boy Cloud.
Ooh.
I want it to be more dense though.
You gotta bring down that that little size difference when you scale. The 0.75.
Put it on just like 0.1 just to see what happens.
Yeah.
I don't want to spend too much time on this, but yeah, Game Boy Cloud. That looks cool.
Yeah, and imagine like hanglers in the middle of that. The middle one is Hangler's palm.
And there's just hangers fractally rotating around it.
Yeah, I feel like if they had made the Kamehameha now,
It would be a fractal.
maybe they would have done a fractal, but it was too hard to draw.
Interesting take.
That is a cool idea for a Kamehameha type of attack. The fractal.
Game Boy Cube. Oh, I fucked with the offset, I forgot.
Okay, so we are basically starting from scratch now. I think this is where I stopped last time because I got pissed.
Why'd you get pissed? Because he started over?
Yeah, he just delete all of it.
I like this a lot. I like the cube. The cube
Yeah.
fractal is way cooler, I feel like. Strawberry Fractal Cubes. That's a band name.
Yeah.
Okay.
So get rid of start. Get rid of create child and get rid of update. So all of it.
So why are we doing this? Just a more efficient way to run this?
Yeah, it looks like it's gonna be, instead of making a new thing that has its own, instead of copying the same thing over and over, or copying the same thing, we're making like an empty for the script, and then the script will make the spheres.
Okay. So, I mean, we just delete everything inside of start, everything inside of update, and everything inside of fractal. So it's everything.
Yeah.
Jeez.
But now we know how to do that.
That's one thing I like about these tutorials for sure, is just being able to know that we can always come back to this
Yeah, exactly.
and be like, oh, that's how we could do like if we ever like we need a fractal. It's not like I'm
Yeah.
gonna expect myself to remember how to do that off the top of my head, but I can
Yeah,
bring this
it's
up
like
and be
school.
like, oh yeah, that's right.
It's in the book. We now know it's in the book.
God,
What is that playing?
it's a movie.
Oh, okay, that's what I thought.
Apologies.
It's okay. We should choose a stopping point.
I mean, yeah, we're at an hour.
Yeah.
The goal was just to do an hour, and he's starting a new thing, so I mean, now's not a bad time. Got a little bit of practice.
Yeah. Maybe what I'm gonna do is Control Z and just save this one as its own script instead of removing it, and then I'll just make the new script at 2.1.
Okay, it's not a bad idea. Okay, but do you want to call it here, though? Come back later?
Yeah, I gotta call my mom before she goes to bed.
Okay. Well, good. We knocked out 1 hour of just getting some good Unity practice in. I got some Unity practice on my own today, too. I did, I could
Yeah,
just bring
show
up the
off.
project. It's not much. But it was definitely... It's shit I need to start doing. This is the kind of shit I want to start doing more. Because
I was trying to think
I would do this kind of
what
shit in Unreal a lot.
I did something in Blender today, but I forget now. Oh yeah, I started to make a baseball bat.
Oh, okay. Off of the base of the one you had before, or just from scratch?
Just from scratch. I
So, yeah, I
knew
got-
the trouble is going to be the texture. I'm so bad with texture, and wood is my weakness.
So I took that movement blueprint we had from yesterday's tutorial and
Yeah.
like adapted it here and then stuck Fridge
Nice.
Guy as the mesh instead. So, you know, obviously it sucks 'cause it's no animation or no up or down camera movement or whatever, but it's the basics are there. And I have it set up so that anything that interacts with a capsule that's like out in front of him. So if I go to scene mode, you can see it, I think. Where is it? Well, whatever. There's a capsule, like a hit capsule, like out in front of him, and
Oh,
anything
okay.
that collides with it, it checks if it's a rigid body, and then if it is, it applies a force to it. So poof, poof,
Oh damn!
poof, poof.
Nice.
So it's pretty fun. It's kind of like he's like kicking shit.
Yeah.
There's no animation or anything, and it's all like automatic. I would like to set it up so that it's like an input, you know?
Oh my god! I just realized what this game is. I hate refrigerators.
That's
Imagine
the
that's
last
the game.
straw. Ah,
That works. I feel like.
I originally had the first thing I did is I just made it so they disappear. They get deleted once you interact with them.
Mm-hmm.
So he was just eating the fridges, which was funny. But I
That's
I
good.
thought this was better, having him just kick him into eternity. But yeah, my idea is basically to change it so that it's like once you press like F to kick or something, it'll check that capsule, and then it'll apply force if there's something there and if it's a rigid body.
Mm-hmm.
So that way you don't just automatically kick everything. But I just wanted to make sure I could do this kind of
Within
setup.
that loop, you could try like within that loop, on the check. Once it's checked, if you could fit like, this is its own thing to learn in Unity, so it's not a one-day thing. But if you had a particle system that just did a particle like splash or like a little poof, but the little particles were all that fridge.
Oh my
that you
god!
kick?
So it like explodes into itself.
Yeah, just breaks up into little ones.
That could be sick.
Just a little poof.
I need to get practice with that.
Or I mean, you could do it with the kick too. Like you just kicked off a bunch of little bits.
I
And
mean, I
now,
have a
they'll
kick
look like a little
animation
fridge.
too, so if I could get it to play the kick animation,
The particle thing is the hard thing in my head.
yeah. Well, this was my code I had to do on it. It took me a little while. It was very little code, and that's honestly that can come out too. So yeah, this is all it was, super simple, but it just took me a while to figure out how to write it all out. But I expected it to just be like if rigid body then blah blah blah. But I had to say like if the rigid body isn't null, then do it. So it's like if it's not a rigid body, then do it. Like the logic of it is kind of weird,
Maybe
but it makes sense.
at, maybe at the start, if you set rigid body to 0.
Well, the rigid body it's set depending on what object I collided with.
Yeah.
So this is the rigid body of the fridge. Because I don't want it to trigger every. Because like then it would apply a force to like static objects, and then nothing would happen, and it would just be like a waste of processing power, I guess. I don't know. Maybe it would just do
So
nothing.
it seems like it's a. Is it just that it's not clearing the next rigid body? Like you do rigid body and then what happens?
Well, so this is whenever something overlaps with the trigger.
Oh,
It
you're using on trigger. I didn't see
Yeah.
on trigger enter. Never mind.
So yeah, I think if it changed, it would be on button press rather than on trigger. Then it would check is collision or something like that. Like is triggered, or I don't know. Maybe there'll be like on trigger enter, it'll flip a bool for like a second or something. I don't really know. I'll figure something out, and then it'll do all this same shit, and then it'll check also is it a valid rigid body. Because then he could just kick anything that has physics enabled. I'm pretty sure I enabled physics on the tennis. I mean, not tennis. The tissue box.
Nice.
It just went flying though. That's the problem though. A lot of things will like clip through. I do have it on a really high force, but still like, see shit just
Yeah.
clips through the wall.
There's no edges. It's like when a flat plane goes right up against a flat plane, the edges are the things that collide.
Well, there is collision here still. It's just that it's going too fast.
Yeah.
But if it goes just right up against it, it just goes right through. I don't know how to prevent that. I remember
See,
in
like when it's
Unreal
at an
there was
angle, it won't go through.
There it goes.
Now it's flat.
That's another thing I always had trouble with in Unreal. The camera always sucked ass the way we had it, or the way I had it set up.
Mm-hmm. Once you get the movement tutorial, has some really good camera controls.
Yeah, you can see why I'm so raring to get the character movement thing done, because this is like so basic. Oh yeah, I can stand on top of rigid bodies. That works. Okay. Well, that was something that I couldn't get to work in Unreal for some stupid reason. So that's good to know. Okay, well that's a wrap. Thanks for watching. We will probably be back tomorrow to finish the same jobs thing. I'll close all this shit. So yeah, goodbye.
Goodbye.